you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, they're listening to the Mix Official. Welcome to 16 years and 2,500 episodes of the Chris Voss Show, because we just wanted something to do. For your show to family, friends, and relatives, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may buy advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. When you normally hear ADHD, it's one of those things I have, as everyone knows. Most people think of restless kids in a classroom. But here's the truth. ADHD is not just about children. Millions of adults live undiagnosed, struggling with the burnout, depression, anxiety, or relentless mind that never finds peace without realizing ADHD may be at the root of it. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a different operating system, and it certainly is. Without a manual, it almost feels like chaos. With the right guidance, it becomes a superpower. And today we dive into this with someone who knows it from every angle. As a neuroscience, integrative medicine, and an ADHD expert, a mother, and someone who's lived with ADHD traits all of her life, please welcome Dia Schwarz on the show. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. So give us .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the internets?
I want people to find us on the internet on www.noot.us. It's an integrative supplement brand without any fillers. And we take it very seriously if we talk about no fillers, and we say no fillers, and we say no bullshit. So this is where people find us. We call us the mindful and the bold, and we're ready to revolutionize this industry with very new integrative medical approaches. But we need you to work alongside with us. So excited to talk about it today, about a very specific topic.
So how does this tie in with ADHD?
ADHD, it's one of a very important topic because people try to numb their symptoms, so to speak. When you hear ADHD, most people think of restless kids in a classroom. There's the truth, ADHD is not about children. Millions of adults live undiagnosed. They're struggling with burnout, with depression, with anxiety, or restless mind that never finds any peace. ADHD may be the root. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a different operating system. And it's important to talk about it. And how does it tie in with Noot? We try to deliver support and solutions and really demand-driven supplementation or integrative medicine to support the people where they are at. And there are certain things, and that one of it is ADHD, other things are depression, other things are just longing for longevity or biohacking or anti-aging. But ADHD is the one we're going to talk about today, because very often it's a taboo topic. And the worst thing is that most of the people, especially when they are adults, they are undiagnosed, and they're really suffering from that badly.
Oh, undiagnosed. So yes. Parents often feel desperate when their child is diagnosed with ADHD. Yeah. What would you say to them?
For children, it often shows up not being able to sit still in a class or daydreaming instead of following instructions. They may even face bullying. They labeled as lazy or troublemakers. It's very tough for them, because it's almost like it's a disability. What I want to say to them is, no, it's a superpower if you know how to navigate with it, alongside with it. And it's the same for adults as well. Even worse, but for kids, it kicks in badly. And my focus and my wish for today is to give a little bit of background to understand where this comes from. What can you do without, numbing everything? You have this little kid and you give him this very heavy medications or her, and then you just, they lose the spark. It's like their little soul in a cage, and they can't embrace themselves because they're numbed. Yes, they will not move around anymore. They will not scream and be happy and express themselves because they are on the drugs, and it's awful. So there should be, and there are other solutions out there. That's why I want to dig deeper a little bit today. So in one sentence, what would I say?
Mm-hmm.
Even the word diagnosis says, you have kind of a sickness, treat it as a superpower. And big leaders out there are all diagnosed with ADHD. It's just how we deal with it.
They call it the CEO disease because a lot of CEOs have it, and probably because we're manic, I suppose.
No, because we want to get shit done. We are on all the time, and we're excited about doing things. We never get tired. And but there is a big downside, Chris. It's not only about that, there is a big downside. And people just think, oh yeah, maybe I'm depressed, or maybe I'm burned out, or maybe where does this anxiety come from? Or thousands of things are happening here. And most of the time, unfortunately, really relationships fall apart because those people are very often very hypersensitive and they have issues with sleep, and they don't even know that it's ADHD. And you can really help yourself.
And that's usually, you say millions of adults are living undiagnosed. If I'm out there in the audience, what does that feel like? How do I know if I'm maybe undiagnosed? What sort of symptoms am I having?
Yeah. With children, we talk just about children, but now let's talk about adults. The picture shifts because undiagnosed ADHD often hides behind symptoms of, as I said, depression, anxiety, burnout. Adults may struggle with time blindness. They never realize how much time has passed, and constantly they're late or trying to find something, or they're missing deadlines despite they try so hard, or they may feel rejected more intensely than others. What we call rejection, in that context, is high sensitivity. So many live with constant self-criticism. That's a very big thing. We show off, and we show because I have kind of as a CEO very often, you just said it, I'm facing partly some issues of ADHD, ADHD, but I celebrate it because I know how to navigate it. And let's get back to the symptoms. So when I say we, that's why, because I really felt it myself. And them calling themselves lazy and, not being sure if we are as cool as we show off, and insecure, but only when the door is closed. And, really the daily life just swings between chaos and bursts of hyperfocus. And then we can work for hours if it's our passion, but if it's not our passion, we can collapse or really get frustrated and upset with the tiniest things. And over years, relationships fall apart, jobs are lost, confidence erodes. So many turn to really unhealthy coping, like alcohol, food, risky behaviors to compensate or to stimulate. Anything too quiet, is a problem for the brain. It's a painful reality. Undiagnosed ADHD doesn't just cost focus; it costs lives, careers, and love. Not even talking about libido and other things. That's why I say ADHD in adults is like driving a Ferrari with bicycle brakes. The power, the creativity, the empathy, all is there. But with the right tools, without the right tools, it feels totally uncontrollable. And the tragedy is not the wiring, it's the misunderstanding. And once people learn how to navigate it, the chaos is not their destiny anymore. That's when ADHD becomes a superpower. And you asked me earlier, what is the link to Noot? Because it's a supplement brand, and the clean supplement brand, that's one thing. But we really try to help people with let's call them issues or challenges by not numbing the symptoms, like celebrating it, integrating them, and help people to grow and thrive. It's the same with ADHD, but you gotta face it, and you need support.
What about medication? I mean, there's people that get on, what is that, Ritalin and different things that they'll do with people with ADHD to try and calm us down. What is your perspective?
Medication can help, of course, but stimulants increase dopamine. And that, that can mean focus, calm, clarity, but they are not without costs. Appetite loss, insomnia, anxiety, cardiovascular strain, even emotional blunting. For children, we just discussed it, like long-term use of that. They are for years on that medication, sometimes 25 years longer. Just daily, it's a sedation. It carries a lot of risks. Yeah. Besides that, it definitely suppresses the personality, right? And the development of your own self. Imagine that. I mean, can you imagine? It's like sitting in a fucking prison.
Oh, yeah.
And it's awful, right? So for adults, dependence is, of course, a huge danger. And we can't ignore that too many people end up medicated for decades without even learning how to navigate their superpower. So that's why I always say, medication should be a bridge, not a cage. And used wisely with regular re-evaluation is good. It can help. But it should never be the only answer. And that is one thing I really want to mention here. I believe most of the people don't know what it actually is. And, where does it come from? And it's important that you understand that ADHD is not ADCs. It's not a lack of discipline. It's a different, and now listen, wiring of the brain, right? It's like having a different hard drive. You don't have the same hard drive that somebody else has. So don't judge it. You can't change it. You can reset it. You can't reset it, but you can learn to navigate it. And neurobiologically, ADHD is linked to differences in, producing dopamine, for example. You are not able to produce dopamine as somebody else is. And why? Then of course you're restless. You try to find distraction. You try to do something all the time to create that dopamine, to have a little happiness in your life. And then of course, what is the answer after years or the consequence? You're tired. You feel restless. And anxiousness and depression very often kicks in then. So it's so important to find the right balance about the medication. But first of all, understand what's happening in your brain and where can I support my brain. And that's when good supplements come in. Besides medication,
And you also talk about how if medication isn't the whole answer, some of the foundations of approaching it in some different ways. Tell us about that. Sleep.
So definitely. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Sleep, nutrition, stress regulation, etc.
Yeah. As I said from the beginning, it's very important to have an integrative approach, and it's ADHD. You can't patch the symptom. It's there. It's about working with the roots. So sleep, nutrition, stress regulation, and purpose. They are the foundation. And then you have other like very great helpers out there like nootropics, lion's mane, bacopa, ginkgo. They support your clarity in a natural way. They're working with your memory and your neuroplasticity without numbing yourself, your feelings, or your personality. Wow. Then, of course, adaptogens like ashwagandha or rhodiola, they support your cortisol balance. That's another big issue for ADHD. I don't want to call those patients, but they're not patients. They just have a different, their brain works differently. But it's very hard for them to balance your cortisol, and that's why you have issues with resilience. So there are answers out there, and we created a few supplements. Of course, I suffered myself, and I try to understand how to navigate with it better. It was very helpful because it made me a very successful entrepreneur, and I always had the power and the drive, and I would work restlessly. But then at a certain point, it kicks in. And that's when I decided to really come up with alternatives, like our happy mood, our stressless and deep sleep formulas to support and to connect you with yourself and to not disconnect you with yourself. And another thing, is great to look into for anybody who has ADHD. If you go into microdosing, and you got to speak with your doctor about it, and specialists about it. But it's really, really helpful. Microdosing meaning whatever your condition is, whatever your symptoms are, you can really go into them and stimulate them and support that part of you which needs help.
Mm-hmm. So now with Noot, you took and built it not just as another supplement brand. It's a clean premium company focused on biohacking and integrative medicine. And then you have it rooted in nature, backed by science, and it's not about symptom patching.
Yeah.
What does symptom patching mean?
Symptom patching is when you call me and say, hey, Dia, what's up? I just lately I feel I have my next show going on tomorrow. Can you imagine? I had to go back home 5 times because I couldn't find my key. Then I lost my phone and I'm miserable. I don't even know what my next podcast is about. It's overwhelming and I gain weight and I'm constantly in trouble with my wife. So there's a lot of symptoms, right? So now I can tell you, okay, go to your psychiatrist, ask for some whatever kind of numbing sedative medication. Or I could tell you, hey, go have your blood work checked. Go have a test. You might be in that context because we're speaking about ADHD. Check your hormonal levels. Where are you at? Menopause doesn't only kick in for women. It's called differently with men. So it's about, to answer your question, it's not just, I have headache, I take a pill. Okay, why do I have headache? What happened? Did I hydrate enough? Why is this happening? You can patch symptoms easily. You can also look into it. And then you would not numb your symptoms. You would understand why they are here and then work alongside with them to do what? To understand your body and then be healthy. Do you think, Chris, you're going to be healthy if you patch your symptoms? Does that make sense? No, it's going to fucking kill you. That's for sure. Sorry, it's going to be a lot of beeps in that show, but it's going to kill you. You can patch your symptoms. You can take anti-reflux medication every day. You can lower your cortisol levels with statins. You can do all this kind of crap. You can. You pay the bill later, maybe sooner than later. And I feel very sorry for that. But you need to be brave and you need to take responsibility. People just very often want the magic pill to patch their symptoms. Not many are really willing to look into.
So tell us about some of the different products that you have on your website. What are some of the things I can find on here? I see a number of different things in the shop.
It's great that you give me the opportunity to talk about the products. I don't want to make it too commercial. I really want to make sure that the people who are listening to it hopefully can take something with them and feel inspired. But I'm happy to talk a little bit about products. Just very quick, I mentioned a few, and they're not, of course, only related to ADHD. It's like there's a lot of products there where for different symptoms, or also only for biohacking and longevity, making sure you have you age gracefully and with energy, or a lot of options. For example, Genius Mushrooms and Genius Mushrooms 2.0 when you're through heavy exam phases, or you have a lot of demand, high work demand, or you want to increase your creativity. Then you want to have very strong adaptogens and nootropics. You take Genius Mushrooms. If you want to make sure your inflammation decreases and you're fully on and you want to prevent from dementia, you want to choose Neuroflame. If you want, to have, let's talk about sex first, okay? Because nobody else does. If your libido is low and you have issues in your relationship and you just feel, how can we spice it up a little bit? You try Love Games. And the good thing is for men and for women, it really works without side effects. And don't want to go deeply into it. If you're interested, just check it out. Female fertility. If you have issues, becoming pregnant and receiving or like becoming a mother, you want to look into that. If you have issues with your testosterone level, instead of getting injections out there, and you have erection issues, you want to look into Alpha Male. Now it looks like, okay, it's very medical, but it's not, because if you want to have a great skin and a glowy skin, you maybe just want to choose Vicoplo, or you want to prevent menopause, you look into prevent. You can't prevent it, but you can support it. You can look after your hormonal balance. You want to choose Menopause Harmony or Aguaje. So yeah, there are a few products, many of them, which I feel are demand driven. And demand driven meaning, like when I saw my son Generation Z, saying, "Mom, oh my God, it's so much. My exams kicking in, it's too much for me. I need support." I try to figure out how to support and what can we do to not patch symptoms, to use your words again, to work alongside the body and its biology.
Works right along the biology. Now, you mentioned that ADHD is a superpower. What do you mean by that?
Think of history's great innovators. Leonardo da Vinci, Mozart, Einstein, Walt Disney, Richard Branson. Oh my God, you want to name them all. Many showed ADHD traits like restless, non-linear, like rule-breaking minds. They don't like rules. They want to go beyond, and you can't stop them. They didn't fit into the system, right? So what did they do? They built their own system. And that's the essence of ADHD as a superpower for me. It's fast thinking, it's creativity, it's intuition, a very high empathy, hyper focus. Sounds negative, but it's also great because people are hyper focused. Think of Mozart, right? What did this guy do? Amazing stuff. So when passion is engaged, people really they bring it to another level. The challenge is navigation. With awareness and the right tools, ADHD is not a handicap. It's really an accelerator. So if you have a kid, that was your first question with ADHD diagnosed, celebrate it, please. It's not a disease. It's not a disability. It's a superpower. Just learn more about it, navigate it, and learn your kid how to navigate with it and through it and grow with it and not break. That's super important.
Well, this sounds like a lot of interesting stuff for people. And, ADHD, I mean, I don't, honestly, in some ways I've been challenged by it all my life, but it's a superpower. I mean, people always ask me how are you able to do so many things and run so many companies and do so many projects? And
Chris, welcome to the club.
I was born in it. I was born in the club. What would you tell every parent of every undiagnosed child with ADHD? One thing, what would it be?
Parents, your child is not broken. And adults, you're not lazy. You're not too much. You're not impossible to love.
There you
ADHD, listen, please, is a different operating system. It's not a defect. Stop believing you're broken, or stop believing your kid is broken. You are becoming.
He has the CEO disease. He's going to make some money.
True.
Help him. Yeah. This has been powerful. Thank you for your honesty, your expertise, and your heart. You're not just reframing ADHD. You're showing people how to live it differently. Give us your .coms or your internets so people can find you on the interwebs.
Yeah, of course. It's Noot.us, as mentioned in the beginning, and then on Instagram is at Noot.world. And you can, of course, any message will be treated confidentially. If you have any issues, questions, just reach out to us. We try to help. We try to support as good as we can. And on Noot.us, you find a lot of information, and you can also send us emails directly. And, I really want to say thank you, Chris. My message basically is simple. Besides all, trying to sell any kind of products, my message is very, very simple. Let's stop outsourcing our health in general. Let's own our wiring and let's live the change we want to see. Just be brave, and live and enjoy your life and look into it. Don't patch symptoms.
Don't patch the symptoms, look into it, do it, and all that good stuff. Well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it. Very insightful.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikToking, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have